Walked under the razor wire with my picture clutched in her sweaty hands. And we talked about the things that little girls talk about her friends and her cat, and about her worries about going to school and her mother. And when she left, she said, Daddy, carry me on your back like I'm a potato sack. And I did. And when she left, she saluted me. And that was our practice after every visit. After every visit, there was a potato sack carry and a salute. Until the day when she was 10 and she was sitting on my lap, and this person came up to me with an anvil in his heart and greedy eyes and told her, that's ugly, you're too old to sit on his lap. Get off of there and move to the other side of the table. And my daughter did. She moved away from me, and when the visit was over, she ran out the gate and didn't look back. And I didn't see her again for 8 years. When I was in prison, my mother would visit me. Alone, her clothes crumpled from the bus ride. And she would limp into the visitation area clutching a bag of dimes. Always dimes. My mother mistrusted quarters because she said the government kept changing them. And she preferred the silvery lightness of the sweet, familiar dimes. And she would sit across from me and we would share a bowl of Doritos and a Coke. And she would tell me about Tia Chucana and Uncle Fred. And she would tell me, mijo, the roses are dying. I need you to come home and cut the grass. I can't get anybody to cut the grass. And she would worry about my weight. And she would tell me, mijo, estás muy flaco, you need to eat. And she would worry about my soul. And she would tell me, mijo, please turn to God, busca Dios, mijo. And she would leave, she would cover my face. And I would hug her and I would kiss her cheek, the tears watering, the wrinkles on her face. And she would shuffle away. This woman who visited me for 21 years. Until she died when I was in prison. When I was in prison, I would spread my sheet on the iron bunk. And I would sleep on my back because I was unable to abide the thin mattress made by other men who were also in prison. I could not wipe away the scent and smell and the hopes of the dozens, hundreds of other men who had sweated and bled and cried into the darkness, would pray for one moment of silence after the cacophony and chaos of the claying day. And I imagined that I could hear their whispers trapped in the cotton stuffed into the mattress, whispers that took shape in my dreams. Pleased to be recognized as living, breathing men with names to match, to be seen as something other than the numbers attached to their every waking breath. When I was in prison, I would dream of a day like today, when the air would not be filtered through iron and wire, when the only screams would be those of children chasing each other through the sun-kissed day, and the only cries would be those of joy at a community being born. When I was in prison, I would dream of the day when I could stand in front of this building, built in front of other men who were also in prison. When 1,000 voices would say no more to jail officials who chain women to their beds when they give birth.
No more!
No more to jail officials who refuse to offer human contact to children and their parents.
No more!
No more to jail officials who deny medication to individuals who lay trembling in their cells, despairing of their very sanity.
No more!
When I was in prison, I dreamed of 1,000 voices who would scream no more to men and women kept in cages for months and years without end, denied the simple right to hold their faces up to the light of day.
No more!
Who are fed through squares cut into steel, and whose howls for a simple touch drown each other out, lost in the belly of the iron beast.
No more!
When I was in prison, I dreamed of a day like today, when the shame and despair that clings to the shoulders and burrows into the hearts of the families of the incarcerated would be lifted away. When we would say no more to prison officials who hide behind policy and claim to not see the pain they have created.
No more!
1,000 voices who would say no more to a culture that depends on punishment and pain instead of reconciliation, redemption, and love.
No more!
And that is what I dreamed when I was in prison.